Many fine oil paintings and clan treasures are housed in the castle, including the Dunvegan Cup, a unique mazer dating back to the Middle Ages. It was gifted by the O'Neills of Ulster as a token of thanks to one of their most celebrated chiefs, Sir Rory More, for his support of their cause against the marauding forces of Queen Elizabeth I of England in 1595.
However, the fairy flag is the most famous resident of the castle. A furled flag of silk and gold thread, legend tells that it was given to a MacLeod chief by his fairy wife before she left him to return to fairyland. As the story goes, she gave him the fairy flag before her departure, promising that it had the power to relieve him of danger and distress when he waved it. Only the eldest male of this family was ever allowed to unfurl the flag. Tradition states that the flag was unfurled at several clan battles in the 15th and 16th centuries. The flag's magical powers are said to have won at least one of them. In the 19th century tradition, it was unfurled to protect the island from infectious disease. In the mid-20th century, the fairy flag was said to have extinguished a fire at Dunvegan Castle and to have given luck to servicemen flying bombing missions in the Second World War.
Contributing to the wonders of Skye is the sadness that the incredibly beautiful island has known all manner of violence. During the 19th century, the inhabitants of Skye were also devastated by famine and the clearances. 30,000 people were evicted between 1840 and 1888 alone, many of them forced to emigrate to the New World.
For example, the settlement of Lorgill on the west coast of Durisnish was cleared on 4th of August 1830. Every crofter under the age of 70 was removed and placed on board the Midlothian on threat of imprisonment, with those over that age being sent to the poorhouse.
The Battle of the Braes involved a demonstration against the lack of access to land and the serving of eviction notices. The incident involved numerous crofters and about 50 police officers. This event was instrumental in the creation of the Napier Commission, which reported in 1884 on the situation in the Highlands. Disturbances continued until the passing of the 1886 Crofters Act, and on one occasion 400 Marines were deployed on Skye to maintain order. The ruins of cleared villages can still be seen at Lorgill, Boraraig, Sushnish and Strathsordale, and Tussdale on Mingonish.
Flora MacDonald is Skye's most celebrated Jacobite heroine. Her father died when she was a child, and her mother was abducted and married by Hugh MacDonald of Armadale, Skye. She was brought up under the care of the clan chief of the MacDonalds of Clan Ranald, her father's cousin, and was partly educated in Edinburgh. Throughout her life she was a practising Presbyterian.
During the Jacobite risings, in June 1746, at the age of 24, she was living on the island of Benbecula in the Outer Hebrides when Bonnie Prince Charlie took refuge there after the Battle of Culloden. The prince's companion, a Captain Con O'Neill, a distant relative, sought her assistance to help the prince escape capture. The island was controlled by the Hanoverian government using a local militia, but the MacDonalds were secretly sympathetic with the Jacobite cause. After some hesitation, Flora promised to help the prince escape the island. The commander of the local militia was her stepfather, Hugh MacDonald, who gave her a pass to the mainland for herself, a manservant, an Irish spinning maid, Betty Burke, and a boat's crew of 6 men. The prince left, disguised as Betty Burke.
The party landed at Kilbride, Skye, where the prince was hidden in rocks, while Flora found help for him in the neighbourhood. It was arranged that he be taken to Portree, and from there taken to Glam on the island of Rassay. The talk of the boatmen brought suspicion on Flora, and she was arrested and brought to London for aiding the prince's escape. After a short imprisonment in the Tower of London, she was allowed to live outside of it, under the guard of a jailer, and when the Act of Indemnity was passed in 1747, she was released.
In 1774, she and her husband emigrated to North Carolina. During the American War of Independence, Captain MacDonald served the British government in the 84th Regiment of Foot, Royal Highland Emigrants. Legend has it that she exhorted the Loyalist force at Cross Creek, North Carolina, present-day Fayetteville, that included her husband, Alan, as it headed off to eventual defeat at the Battle of Moores Creek Bridge in February 1776. He was captured after the battle and was held prisoner for 2 years until a prisoner exchange occurred in 1777. In 1779, Flora returned home to Skye, where she died in 1790. She is buried in the Kilmuir Cemetery.
Flora MacDonald College, founded in 1896 in Laurinburg, North Carolina, merged with Presbyterian Junior College of Red Springs in 1961 to form St Andrews Presbyterian College in North Carolina. In 2011, the college changed its name to St Andrews University.
And of course, there can be nae talk of Skye or Scotland without fine whisky. Skye is home to the Talisker distillery, founded in 1830 by Hugh and Kenneth McCaskill and built in 1831 at Carbost after a number of false starts on other sites when they acquired the lease of Talisker House from the MacLeod of MacLeod. The distillery was rebuilt 1880 to 1887 and extended in 1900. When a new lease for the distillery was negotiated with the chief of Clan MacLeod in 1892, the annual payment was to be £23 and 12 shillings and a 10-gallon cask of best quality Talisker. It was rebuilt once more in 1960 after a stillhouse fire completely destroyed the distillery.
The distillery operates 5 stills, 2 wash stills and 3 spirit stills. All the stills use worm tubs, condensing coils, rather than a modern condenser, and this is believed to give the whisky a fuller flavour, itself an indication of higher sugar content. During early periods, the whisky was produced using a triple distillation method, but changed to the more conventional double distilling in 1928. After the 1960 fire, 5 exact replicas of the original stills were constructed to preserve the original Talisker flavour. In 1972, the stills were converted to steam heating and the maltings floor was demolished. Talisker's water comes from springs directly above the distillery via a network of pipes and wells.
The malted barley used in production comes from Muir of Ord. Talisker has an unusual feature, swan neck lye pipes. A loop in the pipes takes the vapour from the stills to the worm tubs, so some of the alcohol already condenses before it reaches the cooler. It then runs back into the stills and is distilled again. Talisker now has an annual output of 3.5 million litres of spirit.
Talisker was the favourite whisky of writer Robert Louis Stevenson. In his poem, The Scotsman's Return from Abroad, Stevenson mentioned "the king o' drinks, as I conceive it, Talisker, Islay, or Glenlivet."
We hope you've enjoyed this wee presentation, and we'll leave you now with some stunning aerial photos of Skye. We hope you enjoy a dram of Talisker and an evening of fellowship. Slàinte.